Hello, denizens. Gags are hard. In theory, you can't repeat them because everyone will notice. It's not like a romantic comedy which expectedly repeats the same formula every time except for a new location and new actors. In a gag fest style comedy, once you've brainstormed all those brilliant gags, that's it. They're done. You can't reuse them in sequels. I mean, unless the repetition of the gag is the gag. Abram Zucker and Zucker ran through an awful lot of bits, making three Naked Guns. The question is, were there any laughs left for the 2025 edition? Not much, it seems. Warning, there will be spoilers and disappointments. There are some funny things in the movie for sure. The biggest laugh actually came from a bit that was reminiscent of a gag from Austin Powers. I was shocked at how lame the opening was. We all saw it in the trailer where a little girl runs into a bank while it is being robbed, which turns out, well, the girl turns out to be Drebin in disguise, who then proceeds to thrash the collection of hoodlums armed with machine guns. Was it supposed to be reminiscent of the original Naked Guns opening where Drebin beat up the Ayatollah, Gaddafi, Gorbachev, Amin, and other despots? Perhaps, but it wasn't stupid enough where it needed to be, and it was lame when it shouldn't have. How hard is it to send up the one man army trope? Eating guns? Really? I was so surprised at how little I laughed. I actually rewatched some of the 1988 edition and laughed more and harder in the first 16 minutes than in all of the 2025 version. Nordberg ineptly breaking into a room full of drug dealers on a boat who are pointing 20 guns at him, where he nervously pulls out his puny revolver and badge and yells, "Drop 'em," whereby one of the thugs drops his gun, to the hilarious consternation of his cohorts. What the fuck are you doing, guy? Anyway, when Nordberg gets shot excessively and survives long enough to clumsily tumble around the room to burn his hand on a stove and then lean into a door with a sign that says fresh paint on it, mash his hand in a window, fall into the harbor, and finally end up in hospital in bed where Drebin proceeds to hilariously torture the man and provides the bleakest prognosis for Nordberg's survival that causes his wife to explode into a river of tears delivered by Leslie Nielsen, drier than the Sahara. I was crying with laughter. Followed by wonderful scenes with Captain Hawken and finishing off with the classic press conference about Police Squad taking on the security detail for the visiting Queen Elizabeth, with Drebin leaving his wireless mic on while going to the loo for the longest extended pee break in movie history. Hilarious, and one of the many memorable scenes we quote to this day. NG 2025, outside of two dick jokes and an extended incontinence gag, well, there wasn't much that was quotable or memorable. If you're going to continue the Naked Gun franchise, then there are some rules you have to follow. One of Abrams, Zucker, and Zucker's, henceforth to be referred to as stock and trade, was using well-known serious actors from the past. The combination of Leslie Nielsen and veteran actor George Kennedy was what made the original movies work. And as dumb as Drebin was, Kennedy's Captain Ed Hawken was just that much dumber, which made for some great rapid-fire gags. Outside of Liam Neeson and the perfectly cast Pamela Anderson, NG 2025 did not follow this simple convention. Paul Walter Hauser didn't come close to filling Kennedy's shoes, even though he was ostensibly playing his son. It needed a Brendan Gleeson or John Goodman. The antagonist, Danny Houston, was no Ricardo Montalban. I have no idea who Houston is, I'm sorry. A perfectly cast Robert Goulet was the baddie in 2.5, and Fred Ward in 33 1/3. recognizable personalities were key to the original series. O.J. Simpson is a case in point. We've all seen the gag in the trailer where Nordberg's son doesn't want to even acknowledge his dad. Great, great gag. But to follow the as formula, it should have been LeBron James or even better, Serena Williams, carrying on the sports connection with a famous individual. And where was Nordberg's offspring in the movie? I guess they didn't want to be saddled with having to come up with the same gags. I get that. Then we come to the plot, which unfortunately went all James Bond with its global mind control threat. Naked Gun made fun of police procedurals. It was never Austin Powers. Police Squad was always assigned to jobs just big enough they were not capable of handling, like stopping an assassination in Washington or preventing the Academy Awards from being blown up. The Bond-level global threat was proof that Dan Greger, Doug Mand, Akiva Schaffer, and producers Seth MacFarlane and Erica Huggins didn't understand the assignment, not just because it didn't fit Naked Gun. It lacked the kind of big stage in front of important people that would create scenes of massive embarrassment for Drebin, like when he jumped the Queen on the banquet table. Reactions by people aghast at Drebin's hijinks were some of the funniest and most important things in the originals. NG 2025 didn't feature enough reaction takes, but the one scene with staff reviewing his body cam footage was hilarious. Unfortunately, it also featured the tired, old, angry police chief shtick and didn't do enough with it. Another subtle thing Az knew how to do was to make their Naked Gun movies look like the Hollywood movies they were parodying. They got the cinematography right. NG 2025, directed by Schaffer, looked small. Dare I say it? A streaming movie? Let me leave you with some positives. Liam Neeson is great as Frank Drebin Jr., and Pamela Anderson was a revelation as the femme fatale. I cannot say enough about Anderson's performance. She understood the gags. She knew how to make fun of her personal archetype without turning it into winking nonsense. She never parodied herself. Someone out there has to find a way to put her into her own comedy. So there you go. I'd give it about a 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's an okay movie. Worth it to see Neeson and Anderson work together, but the thing it lacked was the anarchy of the originals. Case in point, the closing credits resurrected the Police Squad red cherry siren gags as it drove off the road into people's rooms, girls' dormitories, and the audience laughed in a way they hadn't during the movie. Maybe it was nostalgia, or maybe it was just funnier than anything in the movie. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.